Welcome to our second session in our lecture series on the ketogenic diet. I'm Terry Hope, and I started KetoMamas.com. In the first session, I touched on the obesity epidemic and the chronic disease epidemic in our country, how the ketogenic diet helps with weight loss and preventing and overcoming these diseases, what the ketogenic diet is, what to eat, how it works, and the benefits you experience with this lifestyle beyond weight loss, including more energy, clearer skin, a clearer mind, anti-inflammation, and even anti-aging. So this second session is all about the keto flu and what to do to overcome it and even to avoid it altogether. So the keto flu, or the carb flu, if you haven't heard of it, is when the body experiences adverse symptoms while switching its fuel source from sugar to fat. It's short term and it doesn't affect everyone, but during this metabolic shift, you may feel weak, tired, have body temperature dysregulation, irritability, have a headache, be lightheaded and shaky, have sore muscles, and even constipation. So the severity of your symptoms seems to have a direct correlation with how unhealthy your lifestyle was before you started keto. But the good news is that almost everyone can overcome these symptoms and become fat adapted and have more energy than ever. So there's a few things happening here. When you lower your carbohydrate intake, then your insulin hormone goes down, causing the kidneys to shed water and minerals, and you can become dehydrated very easily. You may experience adrenal fatigue as the brain isn't communicating well with the adrenals. What is adrenal fatigue and how can you recognize it? It's when you have a lower levels of a number of hormones and neurotransmitters and changes that can affect every single part of your body. Every individual with adrenal fatigue tends to have a slightly different set of symptoms, although there are always common complaints like difficulty getting up in the morning, high levels of fatigue each day, inability to handle stress, cravings for salty foods, higher energy levels in the evenings, overuse of stimulants like coffee, and a weak immune system. So the most common signs of adrenal fatigue include fatigue and food cravings. And then there's less common symptoms that are experienced by a small number of people, and that would include low blood pressure and frequent urination. So this is one thing that's happening. Another thing is that your cortisol hormone may spike because of the stress on your mitochondria not being ready to burn fat, and this causes mitochondria dysfunction. So if those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, mitochondria, this is the powerhouse of every cell of our body. And so when we're switching over from burning sugar to burning fat, the mitochondria stresses and says, wait a second, I'm not used to this. And so that stressful situation can cause a spike in your cortisol. So I talked a little bit about switching from sugar to fat. And this is like switching fuel tanks. So you have your sugar tank and you have your fat tank. And the analogy that I've heard is that the sugar is like regular gasoline. And when we burn through this tank of gas without refueling, then we get to the sludge at the bottom of the tank before we switch over to our backup fuel tank. And that's filled with high octane gasoline that doesn't have sludge. So when we switch from being a sugar burner to a fat burner, the keto flu occurs as we're hitting that sludgy part in our tank. So once we get through that, then we get to the high octane tank, and then we feel great and we have tons of energy. So that's another thing that's happening. So how do we ease our bodies into this fat burning state to lessen or even avoid the keto flu symptoms? First of all, you need to drink plenty of water. Like I said, you are losing a lot of water, and you need to hydrate, especially between meals, so that does not interfere with the digestion of your food. Also, you need to take mineral supplements. When you exercise, you sweat out your minerals, and when you're eating the keto diet, you urinate out your minerals. And so you have to replace those minerals every day. Some people encourage people on keto to buy electrolyte drinks. Obviously, as an athlete, people think I'll just drink some Gatorade, but these only contain sodium and potassium. And there are actually 16 different minerals found in human sweat, 5 different vitamins, and 10 different amino acids. So if you're only replacing your sodium and your potassium, it is clearly insufficient. We lose our minerals when eating this ketogenic diet, so we need a mineral supplement that covers all of the bases. There are actually 60 essential minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 to 3 fatty acids. Essential meaning that our bodies need them, but we cannot make them, so we have to consume them. Some people think we can just eat foods containing these different minerals, but if it's not in the soil, then it's not in our food. And it's not in the soil because our soil has been depleted over the last 200 years by modern farming techniques. So we need to eat lots of healthy, non-starchy vegetables, lots of healthy God-made fats, and a moderate amount of protein, but you also have to take those vitamin and mineral supplements. Another thing you need to do is to take probiotics by eating fermented foods, but you can also take a probiotic supplement. And probiotics help the gut flora and the digestion. And you also need to take something called prebiotics, which maybe you haven't heard of, but this is actually what feeds your existing gut flora, the good bacteria. So both taking probiotics and prebiotics is very important. Another thing to help you in the keto flu is to incorporate some intermittent fasting. This helps to build up that mitochondria that I was talking about earlier. If you're hypoglycemic, eat every 3.5 hours, really high fat, low carb, and then slowly extend it to 4 hours. And if this isn't your problem, try to use the intermittent fasting by starting 12 hours between when you eat. So if you eat at 8 p.m. at night, don't eat again until 12 p.m. the next day. And then, start with 8 and go to 8 in the morning. That's a 12-hour. And then you try to push it to 14 hours, and then 16 hours would be an 8 to noon. And then some people even go as far as 18 hours between eating. This gives you a chance to rest from digestion, and it actually boosts that mitochondria and helps you with those keto flu symptoms. Another thing you can do is to prepare the body by taking exogenous ketones. So there's the ketones that you make in your liver, but there's exogenous, meaning outside of your body, ketones that you can actually ingest. And one of these is called MCT oil, and this actually comes from coconuts. And it's straight ketones. It goes into your system, and you don't even have to digest it. It will go for instant energy, and this helps to get your body ready to go into ketosis. You need to take sea salt or pink Himalayan salt in your water and on your food. You're losing that sodium, and that needs to be replaced. Eat more healthy fats. Eat more above ground vegetables. Eat antioxidant-rich herbs. So these are the Italian herbs like rosemary, thyme, basil, oregano, and then the Indian herbs like turmeric, cumin, cardamom, nutmeg. And these are great for flavor and for your digestion. You should smell your food across the house. It helps to produce your stomach acid and the bile to prepare to break down those fats and proteins that you'll be eating. And if you're not battling sickness, exercise can help. Do short, intense workouts to stimulate mitochondria and help the body switch between metabolic states. It helps with our metabolic flexibility, going back and forth from burning sugar to burning fat. Another thing you can do is sequence into it. So start with lower carbs, and then when you're hungry, eat more fats. Another thing you can do is incorporating what's called carb cycling. And this is where you add good carbs once a week. 20% of our tissue can only burn sugar. So pick low glycemic carbs that are nutrient dense, like pumpkin, sweet potato, sprouted quinoa, carrots, beets, berries, even some rice cooked in some coconut oil. Do this just once a week. You add something like that, and then go back to your low carb the rest of the week. So I wanted to talk to you about the different supplements that help with the keto flu. The first thing I want to talk about is the B vitamins. This group of vitamins is the first step in getting your mind and body back into gear. So B vitamins work together to help the body create energy from the food that you eat, while also supporting your brain function, healthy skin, hair, and muscles. Although the role of each B vitamin slightly differs, they're all vital for healthy metabolism and energy production. So this is why it helps with the keto flu. B12 is particularly important. In fact, it's commonly referred to as the energy vitamin. It's needed for nerve function, mood regulation, and the production of red blood cells. Red blood cells carry the oxygen throughout the body, which aids energy production in the cells. And vitamins B12 and B6 are also linked to positivity and mental alertness. So great choices for overcoming the keto flu. Another one I wanted to touch on that's super important is magnesium. Magnesium is an essential trace mineral, and it's the second most abundant intercellular electrolyte in the body. It also is required for over 300 enzymatic reactions. In fact, it's one of the most important supplements from recovering from adrenal fatigue, which we talked about earlier. So magnesium is super important, and it's required for healthy sleep, muscular relaxation, maintaining your blood pressure, heart rhythm, promotes calcium absorption, and regulating blood sugar levels. So you really need to take this while you're going through this keto flu, and it's part of all the minerals that you need to take the whole time that you're on the ketogenic diet. There's a couple other supplements I wanted to touch on that help with the keto flu. One is CoQ10, and the other one is acetyl L-carnitine. And acetyl L-carnitine is an amino acid the body uses to turn fat into energy. So as you can see with a ketogenic diet, this would be very helpful. And then the CoQ10 is short for coenzyme Q, and it's an essential element for many daily functions and is required by every single cell of the body. And it's an antioxidant that protects the cells from aging. So it's a wonderful anti-aging supplement as well. So it helps with free radical damage, and it's a great supplement to help with keto flu. So this is what I look for in a good supplement. I ask myself these questions. Does it cover all of the 90 essential nutrients in the right proportions for your body weight? Is it the highest quality? Where do the supplements come from? Are they plant-derived? Are they absorbable? Does it have quality control and quality testing? Does it give you the most bang for your buck? These are some things that I look at when choosing supplements. So for the keto flu, we mentioned drinking water, taking supplements, eating more fat, managing your stress, and you need to make sure that you're having good bowel movements, 1 to 2 every day. You should have a good bowel movement every morning. And you can encourage this by eating healthy fat, fiber-rich vegetables, magnesium, salt, and probiotics in fermented foods and supplements. It's very important that you don't rush into this diet if you don't want to experience the keto flu. So you need to prepare the body with small bouts of fasting, increase the fat, and cut the sugar. And you also need to watch out for food sensitivity. This can spike your cortisol and bring up your blood sugar. A simple way to test food sensitivity is to take your resting pulse and then put some almonds or eggs or dairy or whatever you're testing on your tongue, and then retest your pulse. And if it jumps up more than 2 beats per minute, then it's causing a stress response. And this is a good indicator that you should stay away from these foods, because that cortisol jump, that stress, is going to make you gain weight. So that would not be helpful. And then take some enzyme supplements to aid in your digestion. It really is very good. And avoid table salt. Use Celtic sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. Those contain trace minerals and chlorides. And use apple cider vinegar and lemon and limes before your meals to aid in digestion. And those also help lessen the glycemic effect that food has on your blood sugar levels. So it's something that I like to do every time I eat. Liquid nutrition is also wonderful. So make a smoothie with an avocado and some coconut milk, or delicious bone broth. I have recipes on ketomamas.com for these. Also, a coffee or peril with some MCT oil or grass-fed butter added is wonderful. And of course, pasture-raised meats with vegetables and lots of added fats, salts, and herbs make for a delicious keto-friendly meal. Thank you so much for joining me on this second video of the keto flu, overcoming the symptoms. And you can find me at ketomamas.com and join our private Facebook group for lots of wonderful information about the ketogenic diet. Thank you so much. I was asked how long it takes to overcome the keto flu, and this is totally dependent on the person. When I first started into the keto diet, I experienced the sore muscles and the weakness and all the things, constipation, until I learned about needing to replace my minerals. But that wasn't very long for me. When my daughter came home from college and she started into the diet, I already knew what she needed to do. So she actually experienced 0 keto flu symptoms. We went through all these things that I talked about with her, and she implemented them, and she had no adverse side effects. And this was coming from a bad college diet. So it could be worse if your diet is very bad. Maybe you're used to drinking a lot of soda every day, eating lots of drive-through fast foods, those kind of things, and that kind of lifestyle. If you're experiencing sicknesses that are chronic, then it may take you a while. Some people can take a couple of weeks. But if you do these things that I've said, it will lessen it, and it could be very short for you, or not at all. So I was asked the question, is it okay if I go through the drive-thru, say at Burger King, and order a double meat, double cheeseburger and eat everything except the bun? And my answer to that is it has to be in baby steps, because a lot of people are used to doing that, regularly going through the fast food, and that is their only source of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So transitioning into a ketogenic diet, maybe you do that once in a while as you try to get better and better in your food choices. But I will tell you that going to fast food, the meat is very low quality. For instance, a McDonald's burger may have 100 different cows mixed into that same burger. Plus, it's got a lot of GMOs, and it was a corn-fed cow that's been given antibiotics. So every time you eat that meat, you're actually giving yourself a low dose of antibiotics, which is killing your own gut flora. So that is not the best choice. Plus, lots of meat and dairy without adding a lot of vegetables can be hard on the body. It's hard on the liver. And so I say little baby steps, eventually getting to the best source meats that you can find, that organic, grass-fed beef would be your best choice, and organic cheese. The cheese on the fast food burgers is often just processed cheese, which is just bad fats made into flavored cheese square. So that's my stance. Just keep trying to reach for the highest that you can in your diet, recognizing that we're all at different levels and we're all making the right steps in the right direction. Thank you so much for joining us in the second video session called Overcoming the Keto Flu. If you want more information, please go to ketomamas.com. There's lots of information on the articles and the recipes there. And then you can join our private Facebook group for Keto Mamas, which is by invitation only. And you can sign up through the website to access those things. Once you're in the group, you can message me personally, or you can email me at ketomamadvice@gmail.com if you'd like some suggestions on which supplements to use and to take during your ketogenic journey. Thank you so much.